How to stop saying I want to make 10k per month. Now, why is 10k per month the prized income of hustlers and entrepreneurs? Thousands of videos mention this number, but there seems to be a problem. It's very general and not specific. For a young man with no direction, the phrase adds unnecessary ambiguity during a time he's figuring out his financial goals. Even myself, I found saying the same thoughts of wanting to make 10k per month. As a solution, I developed a rough framework to work out what I really want to make per month, per year. So get your notepad and pens. For the following exercises, you want to write everything down. I find it easier to write down your immediate thoughts rather than leaving it up for memory. What is a priority? Now, taking a note from Ramit Sethi when he was on the diary of a CEO, what is the main financial priority for you? You cannot have it all, well, at the moment. However, there are categories of spending that will bring more joy and prosperity to your life than others. Is it traveling overseas? Is it that dream car you've always wanted? A down payment for a house? Starting a family? Or going to lavish restaurants every other week? Just ask what provides me the most value and see if it can be the main priority. Personally, my priorities are my own work, investing in my self-education, supporting my family, and perhaps traveling a few times a year. I think I can speak for most guys. The place we live in doesn't have to be lavish, nor our car. I'd rather spend my money on books, courses, mentorships, and traveling overseas rather than modding out my car or going to town. But again, to each to their own. So take a moment to reflect and write down what you want out of your lifestyle. And again, this doesn't have to be set in stone. As we grow, we will change. So what you value as an 18-year-old is not going to be the same when you're 35. Just figure out what season you're in, and just remember, if one thing is a priority, something else isn't. Listing it all out. Now, we don't want an arbitrary number because it's not tangible. Like Jimmy Carr said on Steve Bartlett's podcast, you're not going on this financial journey just to have your mouth frothing over cash sitting in the bank. That capital is either going to be spent, saved, or invested in something. Whether it's clothing, accessories, health, food, travel, transport, education, gifts, family, charity, etc. Literally look up the items, prices on the internet and write it down. The reason why we want to list it out and write it down is to make it obvious, turning the intangible tangible. My point is to stop dreaming of a fog or a mist, something that cannot be grasped or touched in the physical sense. This issue can be probably thanks to money becoming a number on a screen. I cannot physically see the number 1000, but I can physically see the Apple iPhone. Another common trap I allude to is young men thinking, I want to do what I want, whenever I want, wherever I want. That is the ultimate end, or means to have enough wealth that your self-development becomes your full-time job, and you get to choose what you work on. However, it doesn't really help as a goal. It's just a concept, not a clear checkpoint in your self-development journey, because you can achieve the same idea of freedom with 5k, 10k, 20k per month. You name it. And a common topic that falls under this freedom category as an example of this trap is traveling around the world. Constantly, people will make their financial goal, I want to travel around the world. Think of how many times you've heard people say this. Now, where? For how long? With whom? How much? The real issue that Sethi mentioned before is people have not taken the extra step to think. I'd rather hear I'm thinking of going to Japan for a few weeks a year. It would roughly cost me X amount of dollars. Just knowing a place and a rough amount is enough to have a goal to work towards. You will soon figure out that the ability to do whatever you want is not the goal. It's actually what you want to do with the money and freedom. And the main reason people don't take the extra step of naming and pricing it is it naturally forces us to prioritize and make sacrifices. The 50-30-20 rule. Now, with all our written down items and numbers, this section will discuss calculating the rough dream income. For the following calculations, I shall use a general rule of finances, the 50-30-20 rule. Essentially, it's 50% of your take-home pay going towards your needs, 30% going towards your wants, and 20% going towards your savings or investments. Now, believe me, during our previous listing exercise, you will mostly have listed out wants. With this assumption in mind, it will become a major part of our final equation. That being, dream monthly income equals the total cost of wants divided by 30, all bracketed, times 100 divided by 12. I have a link in the description noting how I created this equation. That, my friend, a describable number that far differs from the 10k per month. Of course, if your final result is 10k per month, very good. The only caveat with this number is it's theoretical, as it uses a general rule. You may be in the case where your living costs are not 50% of your income, or you save more of your take-home pay than you spend. Purely theory, not practice. I'll talk about this more in my conclusion. What to do with this number? Now that you have this number, make it feel intuitive. Make it make sense for the goals or lifestyle you want. Then it's just working backwards from there to achieve it. It might be adopting a high income job, a side hustle, learning a high income skill, investing in assets that yield monthly returns. But do take the equation with a grain of salt. There might be some purchases that are not yearly, only one time or so. So your dream income may be lower than what you expected. And like goals, be flexible with your dream number. By applying the theory into practice, by living the lifestyle with your allocated budget and growing income, you might find what you thought you wanted might not be what you want or prioritize. Or in fact, you're happier earning less. Again, I've only given one way of discovering your dream income, but the best method is continually recalibrating your goals and adjusting the course of your financial journey.